If you think you know everything about Blake Lively, trust me, you don't. After some deep digging to unearth the darkest unknown facts about Blake Lively, let's just say I dug up some pretty cringe things from her past that, dare I say, made me like her even less. From body-shaming co-stars to making fun of cancer survivors, here's the top 5 most cringe-worthy things about Blake Lively that you might not know about her. Number 1. Justin Baldoni is not her first harassment encounter. Okay, so the whole Blake Lively suing Justin Baldoni and slamming him with all sorts of nasty harassment allegations is nothing new. By now, we all know of the horrible things she's accused him of. Whether any of it's true or not remains to be seen. But what you may not know is that this isn't the first time Blake Lively has allegedly been harassed in the workplace. But like everything concerning Blake Lively, there's some dark twists and turns in this story too. In 2017, this story broke headlines and broke the internet.
The revelations of past sexual assault incidents in Hollywood continue to emerge, and Blake Lively is just the latest to share her story, and hers is a truly terrifying one. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, the 30-year-old recalled the moment she was harassed by a makeup artist while working on a project. She says he would say inappropriate things, insisting on putting her lipstick on with his finger, and how one night she fell asleep on location and woke up to find him filming her. She told the producers about the incident on multiple occasions, but they apparently didn't do anything about it.
But that was not the only incident. When news of Harvey Weinstein broke and he was finally exposed for the monster he is, it shook Hollywood and the world to its absolute core. In an interview with Good Morning America in 2017, they asked Blake what she thought about the whole thing, and here's what she said.
I think it's important that we acknowledge that this isn't just Hollywood. This is so much more global, and it's not just, oh, guess what, this is what's happening to women suddenly. This has been happening since the beginning of time, but now people are finally talking about it. And I think that that's what's important, is that where I never had experiences like this with Harvey myself. I only had positive ones with him, but that goes to show where, you don't always see what's going on behind closed doors. So I think that when people come forward, that your bosses, you have to acknowledge it. There have been moments where I've come forward, where other people have come forward with things that just feel little and you're not sure. But when your bosses tell you that this is not a priority to them, then you think, okay, well then this must not be that big of a deal. Maybe what I'm complaining about isn't really that big of a deal, and it is.
Blake obviously came forward and admitted that she herself had also endured some sort of harassment in the industry, although she didn't go into any detail. However, she's since been slammed for seemingly playing it safe. She gave off this somewhat disturbing vibe that she may have been trying to protect Harvey Weinstein, or at least that she did not want to offend him or get in his bad books.
She decided it was the right time to say that she never had any inappropriate interactions with him before, and to state that he was a decent guy. It makes you question, how much did she benefit from working with Harvey Weinstein, and how many people on her team are connected to this man? I mean, he's locked up, but he was really a big part of Hollywood, so...
Now to ask how many people on Blake's team, and even Blake herself, benefited from Harvey. Well, the answer to that is just as disturbing. If you've been following the media circus that is Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni, then you will have heard the name Leslie Sloan. And for those who don't know who she is, she's Blake's longtime publicist. And here's where it all takes a dark turn.
Another thing is that Blake Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, started her own company in 2014, so 2 years before I did my interview. And she left her old company and started a new one, and guess who financially backed her company? Harvey Weinstein. As you can see from this Hollywood Reporter article, it was very official that she got money to start her own company from Harvey Weinstein.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Because here's another question that's gotta get your brain rattling, at least a little bit.
It's worth noting the silence or denial in these situations perpetuates the culture of complicity that allowed Harvey to operate in the first place. Her selective outrage on other issues becomes questionable when juxtaposed with her failure to address this part of her history. It does make me question her and every celebrity. What do they really stand for?
But maybe the biggest question, not just on my mind, but a question reverberating throughout the entire internet, does Blake even act like a real victim? For someone who alleges that she suffered serious harassment harassment. She seems utterly tone deaf when it comes to actual DV survivors.
If someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could
That's what the whole It Ends With Us film is supposed to be about.
I don't think I relate to any of my characters.
But she just turned it into a joke and a big PR circus to promote herself and her fashion and hair care products.
Floral fashion continues flourishing this whole press tour. How much fun are you having with these?
best. I love it. Thank you for being in your flowers.
Of course.
A little flower bag. Look at this Judith Lieber thing. How beautiful that is.
And how can her husband jump on SNL and joke about the whole thing?
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Or how does Ryan Reynolds drag Justin Baldoni and relentlessly mock him in Deadpool with his nice pool character, which is clearly a massive, continuous jab at Justin?
She just had a baby too and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay. I identify as a feminist.
And then remember who got to end Nice Pool in the movie? Yup, Blake Lively herself, Lady Deadpool. Shot the poor dude to pieces while Deadpool held him up as a shield.
Woozy time, baby.
Look alive!
How's that for teamwork, right? Well done, Blake and Ryan, for joking about taking out Justin Baldoni together. I guess Justin Baldoni's lawyer said it best.
What I make of that is that if your wife is sexually harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. You don't make fun of the situation. You take it very seriously. You file HR complaints. You raise the issue, and you follow a legal process. What you don't do is mock the person and turn it into a joke.
To be the accuser is one thing, but what if you are the accused? Because that brings us to our next point. Number 2, Blake's been accused of harassment herself. Bet you didn't know that, did you? The world would probably have forgotten all about it had it not been for the whole Blake versus Justin mess. Thanks to hardcore internet detectives, I now have this little golden nugget to share with you all. So back in 2016, Blake was promoting her film The Shallows. Now I know y'all have already seen a bunch of her cringe and unhinged interviews, but this one sort of gets under my skin.
I want your Bob Ross shirt. Take it off. Ah! I'm challenging you!
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah!
I'll do it.
No way! He's taking your shirt. See, I
just
take
gonna
my
tell
shirt
you.
off in this movie and my shorts, so it's only fair.
Yeah, yup, no, not good. And then she justifies herself by saying it's only fair he takes his shirt off because she had to take her shirt and shorts off in the movie? And you can just tell by the poor guy's demeanor that he was uncomfortable as hell. Pretty darn embarrassing and humiliating, don't you think? Just watch.
The best thing that happened
I'm also not in
to
that
me
great a
today.
shape. All right, so Blake, you give me new meaning here to what I'm bringing to an island if
Yeah.
I'm stranded.
Okay.
And here's the irony, or should I say hypocrisy. In her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, Blake made clear how she was made to feel uncomfortable on set. But what is this? This poor interviewer is humiliated on camera for all the world to see.
It just makes no sense to me how she was accusing Baldoni of doing all these things and saying these things that are inappropriate and made her feel uncomfortable. And then she does that to a reporter. He took his shirt off. I mean, can you imagine if you switched the roles? Like she was a man asking a woman to do that during an interview and she would take her top off. I mean, this whole thing to me just put things again in perspective of like her being so, vulnerable and being a victim and not feeling comfortable in front of Baldoni, and then she does this to a journalist.
And yeah, you guessed it, the internet did not let it slide. Isn't what the hypocrite just did considered sexual harassment? That's disgusting. That's sexual harassment. She keeps doing this, making interviewers uncomfortable. Maybe Blake could take a page from Dakota Johnson's book, because believe it or not, she and Leslie Mann did something very similar.
No, that's really it.
Can you take off your shirt?
Which one?
All of them.
All of it.
Sure. We can start with the jacket here. I do it seductively.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll undo one button.
One
This is a
button.
custom
How about two buttons? Two buttons.
Two more buttons?
Yes. Otherwise, we won't speak.
Yeah.
This is like, you're like bribing me. Okay, how about now? That's a lot. What? So we're gonna do the interview like this?
And yeah, Dakota and Leslie got slammed just as hard. The internet wasn't having it. So this isn't sexual harassment. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Sexual harassment is funny when it happens to a man. But yeah, like I said, Blake should have taken a page from Dakota's book. At least she apologized a few years later.
I do that. I am
No, me and Leslie then sexually harassed you and I apologize.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
We probably won't see Blake apologize for this. I don't think. But this next one did surprise me, and I'm sure it will blow your mind too. Blake did actually once apologize, publicly, but not before she made a huge and disgusting blunder. Number 3. Making fun of cancer survivors. Okay. Maybe I'm a bit unfair here, but if you guys follow the British royal family, then you'll know who Kate Middleton is. What you may not know is how Blake Lively managed to enrage an entire nation and probably the royal family themselves. So it all went down like this. In 2024, the palace shared a photo of Kate and her kids for Mother's Day, but it wasn't long before people started noticing some curious little details. The photo was edited. This, coupled with the fact that Kate hadn't been seen in public in months and that she had been completely MIA, gave Blake the perfect opportunity to play Little Miss Mean Girl again, taking a direct and brutal jab at the Princess of Wales. On her own Instagram account, Blake shared this photo, which was also clearly heavily edited. Just to make sure people got her joke, she added the caption, "Now you know why I've been MIA." If that wasn't intended for Kate Middleton, then I don't know. But no sooner than Blake had posted it, she was forced to eat her own words and put her foot in her mouth. As it turned out, Kate was battling cancer and had been out of the spotlight after undergoing cancer surgery.
In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present.
Nice one, Blake. Now maybe kudos to Blake because she actually apologized. Or did she? You tell me. Here's what she said. "I'm sure no one cares today, but I feel like I have to acknowledge this. I made a silly post around the Photoshop fails frenzy, and oh man, that post has me mortified today. I'm sorry. Sending love and well wishes to all, always." Is it just me, or does even Blake's apology sound like it's still all just about her?
I find it staggering that these celebrities would even engage in this sort of insult and this sort of terrible behaviour towards a woman who was already unwell. We knew she was unwell, but not as seriously as we have since discovered. So it's whether they're actually sorry or whether they're trying to mitigate reputational damage, of course, is a different thing.
And let me tell you, the internet once again didn't let it slide. This is what people commented on her apology, y'all. Very disappointed. I never would have thought Blake would go low like this. Talk about women empowerment. Nothing like kicking another woman when she's down. Very disappointed you jumped on the "let's make fun of Kate" dog pile. As if making fun of Princess Kate wasn't enough, she also seems to have a habit of making fun of her co-stars, which brings us to our next point. Number 4, body-shaming co-stars. Blake Lively is a perfectionist. She's a Virgo after all, and Virgos are known for constantly striving to improve themselves. Over the years, some fans have noticed that Blake's nose looks a bit different from when she first stepped into the spotlight all those many years ago. It's more sculpted and refined now. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see there's been some work done.
What an incredible summer you're having. I feel like you poured a lot into this movie, but then you turned around and you were just as supportive of Ryan. Yeah. What is it like to...
And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy week. I haven't slept in like a lot of time.
And here she is in 2004.
Are you going to be prom queen? Is that what's going to happen? You and your little boyfriend? Did you tell him your boyfriend's up for prom king too?
Yes, he is.
And she's a movie star to boot, so you make me sick.
While she's never confirmed getting work done, the subtle change has definitely sparked speculation. But here's the kicker for me. Over and over in social media and under YouTube videos, you'll read the same comments, that she's a hypocrite. And yeah, you guys, it's hard not to think that. In fact, in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, Blake claims that Justin body shamed her and it's been all over the news. But here's the funny, not so funny twist. We have actual footage where Blake body shames Justin. Like in actual footage, clear as day.
And my nose is so big.
Yes, I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
And then
Cut.
You heard that right, as unbelievable as it may be. That was Blake Lively telling Justin Baldoni to get a nose job. How's that for body shaming? And want to know what makes it worse? Justin has always been very open about his own struggles with body image and body insecurities. Kinda seems like Blake just always knows how to stick it where it hurts.
For me, it all comes down to trauma. It all comes down to my experiences as a boy, the way I was policed, shamed, what I was comparing myself to, what I was consuming, the action heroes that I looked up to, all of it. I've been programmed to believe that I'm not enough.
Who knows, Justin probably cried a little bit on the inside after her insensitive jabs. But as it turns out, she may have a history of driving people to tears. Number 5. A history of making people cry. Literally. Blake was born in Los Angeles in 1987. Her parents and all her siblings have worked in the entertainment industry. Her dad was a Hollywood director and her mom worked as a talent scout. Of course, we all got to know Blake as Serena Vander Woodson in Gossip Girl, but it may amaze you to know that she has been acting since she was just 10 years old. But don't praise her raw talent just yet. Her first role was as Trixie the Tooth Fairy in her dad's movie, Sandman. So, yeah. Not sure how many acting chops you need to land a movie role if your dad's the director and your mom's a talent scout, right? Because after that, it took her almost 7 years to actually land a proper acting role in her first major film, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And right from the get-go, the red flags were all over the place. It was during the shooting of that movie that Blake was allegedly so horrible to a new intern that the poor girl burst out crying.
Day after the meeting, and I'm freaking out now. I'm like, are they gonna let me go? Like, what just happened? And then they're like, Jamie, you were pointed out. They said that you were treating Blake like a fan. Blake had a big complaint about you.
Back then, she was just an intern. But today, Jamie Lardner is a pretty successful media influencer who's been all too happy to expose Blake Lively for the mean girl she's apparently always been.
So this girl has a pattern of flipping the narrative, playing the victim, and then leveraging her status to actually bully and mistreat other people.
So basically, while on the set during the filming of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, Blake apparently accused Jamie of talking to her and behaving like a flustered fangirl around Blake, which Blake supposedly didn't appreciate. Because how can some low-life intern dare to talk to a super famous celebrity like Blake Lively, right?
Like, well, she said you treated her like a fan. She said you treated her like a fan. And the only thing I could reiterate, because at this point I'm getting very like I'm sweating, I'm really f***ing out. I'm like, I promise I didn't talk to her, but like they weren't buying it at that point.
Only thing is, Blake was a complete nobody back then. So it would seem she just may have had some sort of inflated ego problem and just wanted to trample on someone. And even worse, there are more horror stories like that out there. Like for instance, how Blake also drove to tears the assistant director on the film, A Simple Favor, in which Blake starred alongside Anna Kendrick.
Blake's co-star in the film, Henry Golding, shared this movie poster on his Instagram, and a woman named Barbara Zeman, who worked as an assistant director for the first film, commented on his post. She says, I worked with you on the first one. My experience with everyone was absolutely amazing, except for a certain someone who was the reason I quit being an AD. Guess who that person is? I wish you all the best with this though. In another comment, she says, thanks for the kindness. I want to avoid attention around this, but I will say she was cruel to many. I know I cried my way home many nights because you try so hard to please someone who is never pleased and puts you down constantly. I can't believe it's actually getting back at her. Karma is real.
Maybe Anna hit the nail on the head.
I met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
Got it.
And, you know, and thought she seemed nice, and little did I know.
Yeah. We got the body language experts analyzing this right now. How quickly do you...
Don't touch me.
From making assistants cry to body-shaming co-stars and harassing male interviewers, can anything even surprise us anymore? But what I am really curious about is this overarching theme of Blake being labeled a hypocrite. What do you guys think? Is she one? And the whole Weinstein saga is also bugging me. Should Blake have publicly condemned him, or do you also think she was playing it a little too safe? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, but above all, make sure to check out this next video because we will be taking another deep dive and unearthing some of the cringiest details we could find.